210 kilowatt, 286 horsepower rear wheel drive, 0 to 100 kilometers in under 6.5 seconds, top speed limited to 180 kilometers an hour. You have seen me doing range test, consumption tests with this car, and it was always trying to have low consumption, not give a lot of power. Today it's the opposite. We're gonna go on the highway, I'm gonna accelerate fully the whole time when I can and drive the top speed as much as I can. I have an OBD dongle connected to the Id.7 and I have Car Scanner Pro on my phone. The data you can see on the left top is the maximum energy content of the traction battery, and it says 77,000 watt hours, so 77 kilowatt hours. So this is how you see, this is a number that the battery gives you. This is not something to see degradation of the car. I have the speed in here. I have the remaining state of charge. I have the battery power in horsepower. We'll see minimum battery temperature, maximum battery temperature, because we'll see that the battery temperature will be going up, because right now it's here, and I want to also see when it's at full what temperature that is. That would be very interesting. I'm gonna reset the trip, but this is not a consumption test, but still it would be interesting to see. My odometer, battery current, then battery energy content at this state of charge. I have 57,750 watt hours per watt hours available. Again, this looks like it's not the real number. Then the motor RPM, that will be interesting. I don't even know it works. We'll see, but let's go and check it out. If you like to have an easy monthly overview of all of your costs for your EV, if you like to see what your charging habit is, how much do you charge AC and DC, where do you drive, what was your consumption on those drives, you can see that with Tronity. Tronity you can use via the app or with the browser. Many EVs can use the app, it's a really great thing, and there's also a 100% text compliant driver's logbook, which is awesome if you need that for your work. My viewers get 25% off if they use the link in the description below, or when they register with the app, just use the code BatteryLife. Huh? Woohoo! There we go. Yes. And that's it. That's our top speed, 181 shown on the speedometer. And here it shows 179 on the app. Already we have a tiny power limit. It accelerated twice and I drove 180 for a minute. I noticed that before. The motor tends to get very warm when you accelerate fully a few times. Did it twice, 3 times. Consumption at top speed 180. I had it on a straight for a second. It's around 300 watt hours per kilometer, but of course when it holds the 180, that not that much power is accelerating, so that's a lot of back and forth. So then hopefully at some point we're gonna see acceleration from 130 to 180, which is really nice, feels good, way better than in my ID.3, but I also have 80 horsepower more. Yeah, driving 180 in the Id.7, the top speed is nice. There's nothing moving anywhere. I don't have to hold on. It's the same as 160 in my ID.3, and of course I'm comparing to that. I drove the ID.3 for 3 years, and it's a higher top speed, and it's nice that it can do 180. I don't need 200, especially when 200 is uncomfortable. Would be uncomfortable, I don't know. But if this would be the case, I wouldn't like that. Wouldn't like to drive 200, so I'm okay with this. And it's not extremely loud at 180. It's all nice. I drove 180 with the Skoda Enyaq as well. I drove to Pilsting Supercharger, 70 kilometers away. And I drove constant 180 when I could, the same as we do today. That was also very nice. But it didn't handle as good as this, but still great. Let's see, 284 it says in horsepower. That's cool. Top speed. Yeah, even with wind coming from the side, I feel a bit, it's still amazing. It drives great, drives stable, all good. Amazing. 180 rules in this car. Woohoo, they're driving 182 there, but I'm limited. I can do what I want. Right now I use 92 horsepower, 75 horsepower, 67. That's no horsepower at all to keep 182, which is 179 real speed. Says it here, and it's true. We have a bit of power limit at 90%. Average consumption 240 watt-hours per kilometer. Instant consumption right now 300 watt-hours per kilometer. We already used 12% for those 34 kilometers. Temperature is at 16.6 degrees. Power limit is there, I would say, at 90%. Even though I'm driving a constant speed, I'm not accelerating. I'm not using a lot of power. But it can cool down with always constant power, I guess. Battery content 48 kilowatt hours at 63%. Oh, we should do it at 0%, what it says, how long I can still drive. Oh. I've never drove 180 that long. I would say for the last 4-5 minutes, almost. Slow down to 170 and then back up. Not even in sport mode. By the way, I'm in normal mode. Yeah, comfort. Yay! 20 degrees for the battery and almost there. I have a tiny bit more power limit now because I accelerated a few times, 3 times or so, but not very long and nothing, but that's it. I have a power limit at 90%, I would say. It's when you're driving 175 and then accelerate fully, there's nothing happening, of course, because the limit is right there. Very interesting, when you drive 130 and then go up to 180, it gets louder in here, but not as much as you would think. I experienced this in a lot of other cars. When you drive 130 and then 160, it's like, oh my god, it's a different world. In here it's not that bad. We're at exactly 50%. Battery says 38.3 kilowatt hours. Consumption is totally fine. I'm driving 180 in acceleration a few times since I'm on this highway. That's totally fine. Average speed is 154. 155. I'm at 22.5 degrees for the battery, and the button to preheat the battery is gone. I cannot do it by self, even though it's not. It says optimum rapid charging capability reached at 22 degrees. Yeah, I have to go off to the Tesla supercharger here because I want to do a charging test at a Tesla supercharger. But I want to arrive with under 15%. I still have to use 30% of the battery, which I did so far. So I have to go on. A weirdo on the way. Look, let's listen to the volume in here. 130. $180, $158. I'm an idiot. Average speed. It's a good run. It's a good drive. I drove 93 kilometers in 35 minutes. Tweak. And we have speed limit. So we turn around because they can't be. I'm at 38%. I have to burn another 23. Let's go, full! Whee! It's a horrible road. So if the road is nice at 180, you can drive with one hand. You shouldn't, but you can, it's fine. If it's like this, like now, where it's bumpy and I'm jumping around because it's not a good road, I need both hands, but it's not weird and dangerous. And since the steering of the Id.7 is really good, even in sport mode now, it's not extremely direct and sensitive. It's perfect. That's why it feels so good. I love this car. 26 degrees for the battery, perfect temperature. Tells me I can get 129 kilowatt, but we are at 137. It jumped up. When I go from the accelerator pedal, it changes. Look at that. It says 129. Now I go full regen, and it says 138 kilowatt possible. Is it because of the voltage? I think it's because of the voltage. The voltage of the battery drops when you give full power and increases. Interesting. I still have to drive it down to under 15%. ID4 gets passed by an Id.7, and it's an Austrian too. Is it a GTX? No! Boom! Loser! I have 95 kilometers of range at 29%. That would mean, oh my god, under 300 kilometers full range. And it hasn't adjusted yet. It should be less. It should be a bit less. With an average consumption of almost 300 watt-hours per kilometer, it should be 250 or so when I drive like this. And I have a tiny bit of power limit. Look at it. That's 10% power limit. Now let's accelerate a few times so you can see how strong the power limit is. I'm gonna slow down to 130 and full power. And so you can see how the power limit affects the car when you use a lot of power at the time. Still 10%. It's a bit more than 10%, I would say. Let's slow down again. And full. Yeah, but it regenerated pretty well. It regenerated pretty okay, but I would say that's 15 to 20% power restriction. It's not bad. So it's not a bad thing if you get 20% power limit on your acceleration. I think that's fine. It's not a big deal. It's all good. Ooh, 183. I'm flying. Ooh. Insects are back. I see insects on the windshield. It's spring. Fine, it's officially spring. If you want to follow me on Instagram, BatteryLife1, and if you want to support the channel, I really appreciate it. There's a Patreon link in the description below, and here on YouTube there's also channel membership. Thank you very much. My battery is now at 31.6 degrees at 21% state of charge. Yep. You have seen power drive with the Id.7 is awesome. It feels good, it feels safe. It's great. We're going back to comfort mode or individual, like I like it. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.